Alrighty, folks, welcome back to another episode of Live in 5, baby. The captain, Gage Ausmus, Jay Swish, reporting live from the chin of Scottsdale, Arizona. Azo, episode 114, always brought to you by Mini Movers and Butter Golf. Fella, it is the trade deadline week in the National Hockey League. The Sioux boys took home the Penna Rosa. We got playoff hockey coming up for college. We got, the playoff push for NHL. That's show business, baby. That's baseball. And that is also porn if you're a fan of the hockey game and everything that comes with it. So what's up, brother? How we doing? And, man, I love seeing that Penna Rosa coming back to the chin of Grand Forks. I just hope that Penna Rosa is not getting marched around town like, we're parading it like we're really happy about it. It's good to have. It's a good feather in the cap. But, hey, it's not the one we want.
Yeah, it's at the point, Jordan, the university has won the Penrose so many damn times. It's almost like we got another Penrose.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's not easy to win that thing, man. You got to have a full season in the NCHC. And be the best team to come out of there. And it ain't easy. But somehow North Dakota makes it look easy to win those regular season championships. I hope we throw it in the shitter, Jordo. And our sights are set on playoffs. And I wouldn't mind winning this NCHC playoff, Jordo, but I hope our sights are set on the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, to pad the stats a little bit, right? I believe we have Omaha coming to GF this weekend. And then if you win the quarterfinal, you win the semifinal, do you just keep playing at home until you basically win the whole thing or the conference tournament? So for the semifinal, would it just be a one-game shot or is it a best of three? Because obviously in the years past, it's just one game. Like you go to St. Paul or you go to the Target Center in Minneapolis, it's one game. And you lose that semifinal, you play some bullshit third place game, and then you go home and await your seeding. I mean, the third place game that one year literally got us into the tournament when we beat Western Michigan. I think it was my sophomore year. And that was like big time for us. I remember Wisco lost or beat somebody, got us in. We went into Cincinnati as the 4 seed, ended up going to the Frozen Four. How are you? But I'm curious, what's that format? Because that's
single game, semifinal.
Wow. So you potentially, if you're like Miami of Ohio, you're flying to Forks for one game or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, potentially I think it would be, unless Denver and Western lose their series, we would probably end up playing either St. Cloud or Duluth.
Okay, so that's
and they just travel up for one game, and that's it.
That's actually not bad. I was going to say, because, I mean, it's pretty much centrally located, so it's not terrible. But, like, if you were, if it was like ASU or something coming up for one game, that'd be pretty funny. Just work them over and send them home.
Really, anyone. I mean,
yeah,
like ASU, Denver, Miami, CC, just flying out to Grand Forks for one game.
Yeah,
that ain't great.
Yeah, that would be funny. But I do like the new format. I will say that. I think it creates a little bit more incentive to finish higher up in the league, to get home ice and even win the fucking league like UND did to secure that home ice all the way through. That should be pretty cool. I mean, if they do end up winning it, Azo, or going to at least the conference final, it would be in Forks. Would you slide up for that, or is that something you're?
Yeah,
you would, eh? Yeah.
I think I have to head up there if they're in the semifinal and beat Omaha, just to see that. We haven't really ever seen that before. I don't think it's ever happened.
No.
Honestly, I don't know, maybe way back in the day, but as far as I can remember, the semifinal and the final of either the WCHA or the NCHC has been played at the XL Energy Center or Target Center. So I think I'd have to get there and see the atmosphere. You'd have to think it'd be rocking in there.
You'd think so, yeah. And I mean, UND welcoming Omaha this weekend. They're going to play them at least 6 times this year. If it goes 3, it's 7. That's a lot of times to play a team. I mean, I know they should, obviously get it done, but it might take that Sunday game. You never know, man, because playing a team 6 or 7 times out of your 35 odd game schedule thus far. Like that's a lot of, it's like almost like the jungle schedule back in the day when I played Milwaukee and Rockford and Iowa 18 times. Like that's, 18 out of your 68 games or whatever. Like that's kind of has those feels.
It does. Yeah. And especially, well, I mean, the NCHC is so deep too. I mean, it's like UND finishes first. They should be playing one of the worst teams in the league, and Omaha is no walk in the park. I mean, I know they're not great, but it certainly feels like a little harder matchup in the first round than, the usual, I guess, when we were back playing. It was like we're playing CC, and then that was at the time when CC was dog shit. So it was almost like, okay, we're guaranteed to win this. We're probably, I don't know, how would you feel as a player? Like, I think it's pretty cool for the fans that we get those home games. It will be cool for the players to be able to play those playoff games at the Ralph, but there was a little something about heading down to Minneapolis or St. Paul to play those matchups that, I don't know. I always found that fun because we did have a pretty fun tradition that we used to do before that tournament on Thursdays.
Yeah. Ladies' night over at the VU. I would say if you're a senior or you're a guy that might be signing, I think it's cool. I think you get more home games, you get more experience, more life, if you will, at the Ralph Engelstad Arena, kind of be able to soak that in, that experience to play in front of your fans one last time before, again, you go into the NCAA tournament. But I don't know. For me, and the only thing I know is same as you, Azo, is it was kind of nice gearing up for a change of scenery, having your fans travel with you, getting into playoff hockey. It almost felt like it was a precursor for what was to come. We were gearing up for, all right, this is playoff time. We're getting on the road with the boys, put the tracksuits on, rookies, freshmen, go buy our chew, and we're going to head down 94. And we're going to Minnesota and try to win a couple games. We never fared too well there.
No,
but
we were always psyched to go down, though. We were always like, "Let's go, let's do it." And
don't blame it on the Thursday night at the cabaret. I'll say that.
No,
do not blame it there.
Blame it on the coaches for being there with us.
We didn't. We didn't leave our legs at the VU. We were ready to go for sure. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I guess we'll see how it is. I just think there's positive and negative to it, just like anything. I think it's cool that UND and the fans get to experience, especially if they were able to reach that final. But at the same time, I think a lot of people, even around the country, UND fans, including people in Forks or Bismarck, they always had that weekend circle going down to the cities. And
that's where you're gonna miss those fans, Jordan. Like those are the real ones. Those are the ones still chanting, "Let's go Sioux." Yeah. Let's go Sioux. And I feel like you don't get that at the Ralph nowadays. The Ralph gets a little stale towards the end of the year.
It does, man. It's still the Taj Mahal, but you're right. You get those rowdy fans all licked up. And I know just as a kid going to that, I mean, nothing will ever beat the Red Baron Final Five. WCHA, it really won't. Thankfully, I was able to play in one of them. One and done, though. Made it back for the Jason Aldean concert in Forks that Friday, though. How are you? So wasn't all bad. But, yeah, just like the people in that vicinity, especially the XL Energy Center back in the day at the Irish Bar, over at Tom Reed's, you're mixing it up. You're at Cassetta's grabbing a pizza for your barrel, and then you're walking over, and it's always around St. Patty's Day, and everyone's drunk. Like, the Target Center didn't have that feel, but I'm just saying, like, at best, I it's hard to top that, man. It really is.
Yeah, the Red Baron Final Five, nothing. I mean, as soon as we went to the NCHC, Jordan, it was like, okay, this tournament's done. It sucks. It was never the same. I always was jealous of guys who got to play in that tournament because that was obviously, I don't know what changed so much. I mean, there's still good teams there. It's just like the XL Energy Center was always full for all of those games. And then all of a sudden it changes to NCHC. And there's still a lot of the same teams playing in it, like Denver, Duluth, St. Cloud, still the same as the WCHA, but there's no one in the fucking stands. There's no one there.
But you miss Wisco and Mini, the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
And then even Mankato, right? If they're that, say Duluth doesn't make it and it's Mankato instead of even, I would say, a Miami of Ohio or one of the teams that we brought in, Western Michigan. It just doesn't have the same magnitude of just the fans that would come in, because it'd always be like, man, growing up, and we're basically the same age, 1 year apart, but like just growing up, it would always be like North Dakota Mini would be the number 1 or 2 seed. Even throw Denver in there in the early days when they won back-to-back with Guaz. And then it would be like just like an absolute just a fucking just slash fest for like 4th, 5th, and 6th, because there'd be 6 teams there, and that play-in game was on Thursday night, and that was always like a greasy like St. Cloud team coming in with like Ryan Lash and some of those guys. Andreas Nodal, the Noodle, the Austrian. He was a sick player back in the day. Like they would always come in, and it would be like St. Cloud versus CC. Even CC was sick with like Marty Sertich. I'm going to throw that name out there for you. And Billy Sweat, who was a nasty player. And even the Schwartz brothers back in the day. Like, I don't know, man. It's that tournament, nothing will beat it. All the bands would be there too, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
so sick.
Standing room only. Like,
it was packed in there, dude. It was like the high school state tournaments this weekend. It was kind of the same crowd in there.
Yeah.
And then we got down there with the NCHC at the Target Center, and there's 1,200 people in there,
Yeah.
And you're playing in the dump of Target Center.
Yeah. Well, remember the first year, it was legitimately all UND fans. Remember we played, I think it was Miami of Ohio, and then we played Western in the third place game.
Yep.
But that first game against Miami, I mean, Target Center is huge. It holds 17 to 20,000, somewhere in there. And it was legit like 9,000 Sioux fans, maybe 10,000. I'll give us 10. I'll give us double digits. And then there was nobody else there. Like
nobody.
It was.
It's so funny. Yeah, I don't know. I like that they went to this. It sucks for a guy like me who likes going down to the Frozen Face-Off, who liked doing that and like seeing all those fans. But it'll be interesting to see what the Ralph looks like, if they do make the semifinal, which they're expected to, and then even the final if they make that. I mean, that if they do make the final in the NCHC playoff and they're playing a one-and-done home game at the Ralph, that's got to be one of the best games to catch at the Ralph all year.
For sure. Yeah, 100%. I wonder if that would be on a Friday or a Saturday. Like, is that it doesn't really matter.
I guess Saturday.
Yeah, probably Saturday, and then Selection Sunday would follow that.
And then Jordan, do I go to the semifinal game? Like, maybe they don't make the final game, but then do I got to pull off 2 weekends in a row going to Forks if I do go to the semifinal game, or do I just hopefully they make it to the championship game?
Yeah,
it's a tough call.
I would say see who they're playing in that semifinal, and then make a decision from there, an executive decision. I would, because you could always stretch it out for a week in Forks too. You could just, mini movers it and just,
pack a bag,
right? Pack the road kit, but then you're on a 6-day bender. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy being a fan. People don't talk about that. It's not easy to plan your drinking around watching a hockey team play. The thing about the Ralph too is, like, how much do you even really watch? Like, that's my thing when I go up there. I'm like, I want to watch these guys play, but all of a sudden, by the time you shake all the hands and, talk to, this person, that person, which is great, and then, sign a baby, it's like.
Then you need another drink, and then you got to go wait at the bar.
Then it's intermission.
And then it's intermission.
And then I run into Carrie Jackson, and I love Carrie Jackson. Shout out to Carrie. But then I talk to her, and I look, and then the game's over.
Before you know it.
Before I know it, the game's over.
The game's over.
And she's got the spot afterwards, but we didn't even watch the game.
And you're sitting there in the suite level mingling with people, and you're actually talking about the game that you didn't watch. Like, yeah, I thought the boys were flat. You didn't watch a single second of it. You just saw on the TV screen when they scored or they got scored on. You watched a highlight, and you're like, oh, that was a bad turnover. And that guy didn't play well tonight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, then tweet something out like you watched the entire game.
That's the thing. If I go there, I'm probably not watching the game.
Yeah, definitely not like you're in the confinements of your house, but it is more fun. Azo, speaking of Jacks, I mean, I saw the list come out today for the finalist for the NCHC Coaches of the Year: David Carl, Anthony Noreen, and our boy 2-4, Dane Jackson. Look, I don't think he really cares about personal accolades at this point, especially regular season things. It would be a nice little bump, first year as a coach for, finally getting your chance at it. But I think it's got to be a no-brainer for Jax. I mean, North Dakota's had a better year than Denver. I think they've been a wagon all year. I think their last regular season loss was, I want to say it like dates back to December maybe, or like November I saw. So it's been, 4 or 5 months at least for these boys. And I just think they've been a wagon all year. I mean, I know Miami's had a decent year and a decent bounce back, but if you're looking at that, that's got to be unanimous, no, for Jax?
Oh yeah, I would think it's that's already a shoe-in for sure, like without a doubt. I mean, UND was, I think, preseason ranked third in the league, actually pretty close to like them in Arizona State for the third and fourth spot. And then you had Western and DU. And obviously North Dakota just won the Penna Rosa. I think that's an absolute no-brainer. And then I do think Cole Reshny is going to win the Rookie of the Year. I don't see any other rookie in the league that's had the season he's had. So, yeah, that'll be cool for Jax to get that, because you look at his age, Jordo, and you think about all the years he coached and probably watched younger coaches get head coaching jobs at other schools, and seeing them do their thing and finally gets a shot. And I think before the season, people had their doubts, and there's really no doubts about this team anymore. We know who they are.
100%. I mean, a guy that's been in the wings for 20 odd years, a guy that could have left for head coaching jobs in the National League as far as an assistant, definitely had American League head coaching jobs on the table. I remember a few that he was mulling over that never really, he seriously considered. But I think at times he probably thought to himself, just as anyone would, is it my time to level up? Is it my time to leave? But in twofold, you got your family there. You got a great community. The program's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And his loyalty ultimately showed through. And it's cool, man. It's just being a friend of his, obviously, bringing in 15 new players, revamping a coaching staff, a lot of question marks going into the season. To what they've done is cool, and it's a tip to all those guys, even Chiz, Simmer, Schmaltz. I think they've all leveled up their game and cohesively put together a hell of a roster and obviously a great system in place. And you could just tell the little differences that every coaching staff puts together, before or prior to a regime. They play fast, they play fun, and they've got these guys bought in, which is the biggest thing.
Yeah, 100%. They definitely are getting the best out of these guys, and they've got them bought in. And you read Schloss's articles. It sounds like they're a really tight knit team, which is hard to come by nowadays in college hockey right now with the transfer portal and guys leaving and transferring other places, or you never know if you're going to get cut from the team nowadays. But it's cool. It's cool for us, Jordo, because we kind of saw the beginning of it down in Tampa. And when they eventually got those two studs in Keaton Verhoff and Cole Reshny to commit to the university, I mean, that was definitely a turning point in the season. Without those two, they definitely aren't sitting where they are right now. And then also, I think you got to shout out JP Lammy too. I mean, he's coaching the goaltenders, and that freshman, that Czech freshman Spunar, he's had a hell of a year. I don't know how much you can attribute to JP Lammy coaching him, but I'm sure he's had a say in that too. So everything that Jax has done up to this point with his coaching staff, his team that he's fielded, and I mean everything he's done with the way he coaches them and the way they're playing right now, I mean, it seems like he's got it pretty figured out.
100%. And yeah, seriously though, shout out to JP Lamoureux. I mean, it's a guy that played 18 years pro goalie, was a hell of a chin for a backstopper for UND. But I just remember when we were there for that weekend against, who was it? Was it Minnesota? We were there this past year. Yeah. Okay. So it was mini. Every year just feels like it's a blender. I feel like every year I go up for the Minnesota series, it's just pin. But we're sitting there after the Saturday night game. They ended up losing, but they won Friday, so split. The coaching staff they wanted to come out and see us. Obviously, they weren't in the best spirits. Where they could have been if it was a sweep, but we were sitting there in that booth at Bonzers, and JP Lamoureux is a good dude. is sitting there like explaining to me like his theories, his analytical things, his percentages. Like, if the puck crosses the midline and it goes over to a guy that's a one-timer option versus a catch and shoot option, if you're on your strong side, what are the chances of that goal going in or that shot going in? And then just like behind the net plays, like all these percentages. And we got like a popcorn bowl out for the net. We got a fucking tall boy PBR. The schooner's the D in front of the net, and like a high noon for the offside winger. And I'm sitting there with Dale, and I am so fucking pinned. And these two goalies are talking about this shit. I finally look at them and I go, all right, boys, like, this is good, but like, can we talk about something else? Like, we start talking about pussy or something? I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know where
boys,
this like,
boys,
I can't
come on
right now.
Get this out of my face.
It was so funny. Like, he was so professional, and I was just so fucking pinned after 14-hour shift on the booze, night before we don't sleep. It was so good, dude. And like Dale too was just as drunk. Like, that was after that Harry's dinner where we each had like 6 old fashions and an Irish coffee. And Dale's like keeping it together. I'm like, Dale, are you following us? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, shut the fuck up. No, you're not.
There's no chance.
No chance.
We just said 6 old fashions an hour ago.
Oh my God. That was a classic. So yeah, shout out to JP Fertalamoureux, doing good stuff with the netminders back there. But yeah, Azo, I'm fired up. This is kind of the time of year. Obviously, I start getting really more dialed into UND puck when it matters. So boys up there, keep her going. Congrats on the Penna Rosa, not the one we want. If they're trying to show that thing off and some of the guys are listening, throw that thing in the shitter, man. We used to throw it right in the handicap stall at the Ralph Engelstedt, and you can just look at it while you're shitting before practice, be like, it's a nice trophy, but that's not the one we're really looking for. So that was actually started in Green Bay.
Is that where you started it when you were on that?
Yeah.
Why can't I think of the Clark Cup?
Yeah. So we won the Anderson Cup, which was a regular season trophy. And Grant Arnold, absolute nail gun, played at Denver.
Beauty.
He just took that thing because he had won before with Coop, and he took that thing right to the shitter. And he said, you know what? And it sat there for like 2 months. It was unreal. Then we won the Clarkie and put it right in the shitter too. Yeah.
That's unreal. Yeah, no, you put it in the shitter, but nicely done, boys. Yep. Hell of an accomplishment. You've now, snaps for the boys. You've now left a mark on the university forever. That is good enough to hang a banner.
Yep.
So we're adding another banner to the roof of the Ralph, which is awesome. Keep hanging those banners. We can't take it for granted. They are hard to win. I know the university makes it look easy, but it's not. So give yourself a couple clicks, but we're on to the next one.
100%. Azo, I want to stay on the UND side of things just while we're here. We are a North Dakota friendly show over here, and we do pump the tires of our own. Matt Green stepping behind the bench for the LA Kings. Fucking love this move. One of the best guys in hockey. He will never get the limelight. He never wants the spotlight. He will never come on our show, even though I ask him every so often, hey, Greener, I know the answer, but maybe come on. The floor is yours. One of the funniest guys I've ever met, and probably the coolest dude I've ever met in hockey, Matt Green, taking over as the D coach in LA. I was texting with him a little bit, and I was like, Greener, you're meant for this shit, dude. I hadn't talked to him a little bit, but I'm like, you're meant for this. He's like, yeah, thanks, man. I got a lot to learn. I go, you don't got anything to learn. Just show up with that aura. Like, you know what I mean?
100%.
Just show up with that. You don't need anything. I don't need any X's and O's from you, Greener. I know you can watch the film and break it down for me, but I just need you just back there just giving me confidence. I mean, imagine that guy was your D coach, Azo. I'd run through a wall.
100%. I was thinking the same thing. How did it take this long for the Los Angeles Kings to put this guy behind the bench? Imagine the presence he has back there. I mean, he's going to step right in. I mean, like he's been doing it forever. And like you said, his aura is all he needs. I mean, it's like a Hackstall aura where whenever you're around Greener, you feel something in the air. You're like, I feel like I have to respect this guy and I have to give him my attention because that's just what he demands. And ultimately in the NHL, Jordo, like that's all you got to be, right? Like you said, you just got to give the guys confidence. They know how to play the game. I'm sure he can run them through video, but I mean, that's got to be such an asset for that team, and then especially those defensemen to have him on the bench rather than up in the press box watching the game.
Yeah, I mean, he's done anything from scouting to player development there in LA. He's been around since he retired. He's jumped right into the fold with Rob Blake, the former GM there, and now obviously Kenny Holland puts him behind the bench. But also, when you're around Matt Green, you want to be funnier, you want to be more intellectual, you want to be more nails, you want to be more Ferda. He's just one of those guys that is one of the biggest foxhole guys I have ever met.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually the coolest guy, I will say, that I have actually met in hockey. He's one of the most down-to-earth chins you could have a conversation with. So yes. I think whatever Greener wants to do in coaching or management, he could be a head coach, he could be a GM one day. I just think this is such a cool and unique experience for him to take the next step. And
for sure.
Good on Kenny Holland too, because he's a good hockey guy. He recognizes real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that for him to recognize that, I think that says a lot about Kenny, just to recognize that, because he doesn't have any experience coaching so far. But in my opinion, you don't really. I know coaching is one thing, and you do need to be good at it, and it's a different craft in itself. But if you've been around the game as much as Greener has, you're going to step right in there and be just fine. I got a funny story about Greener too, like the type of guy he is, the way he kind of makes you feel. I was actually at the World Junior matchup, one of the USA games, and Greener was there scouting one of their Kings prospects. And I saw him in the distance, and I knew I was going to go talk to him after I was at the bar. And I really wanted to get a vodka soda splash of cran. Mm-hmm. But I saw Greener, and I knew I was going to go talk to him. So I ordered a beer instead. You know, like, I didn't want to go talk to him with a fucking transfusion in my hand. You know, like, I had to have a beer. Because I was like, I'm not going to talk to Greener with this pussy-ass drink in my hand. Like, I just can't do that.
He would just be looking you up and down. Like, he wouldn't even say anything. He's like, that drink tastes good. Like, yeah, perfect. But I think, tying this all back to just the team this year with UND and Greener, like Dane Jackson had him come up for Pro Week. And I believe, Ozzo, you were there at the tail end of it, just being a big culture guy.
Yep.
But Greener was brought in to not only work with the pro side of things, guys being there, including the likes of my brother, Brock Besser, amongst others. But he was brought in to give a speech and hang around this current team. And I remember, I think it was the first night he showed up on campus, he went over to one of the boys' house and like had them tell their first sex story, or you know what I mean, like just something to kind of like get break the ice and get these guys acclimated with each other, and then obviously spend some time around the team and just the university. And there's no secret, I think, like that's where like a good year starts off. You bring that guy in, it's like, okay, this is August, and then we just roll through there and just have this momentum built. And it's a firsthand look at, these kids that can see just an old school pro who can fucking throw them down. I remember Nick saying you guys were sitting at Bonzer's and Greener ordered, I think it was a Long Island iced tea or a vodka, and he had a sidecar tall boy PBR, or it was a Kona Big Wave. It was like a 32-ounce Kona Big Wave. So he had two drinks.
It was insane. I was like, this guy is all time. I was sitting with Nikki there too, and that was so good. I remember looking at it. We were looking at each other like, this guy's fucking all time, man.
Yeah, unreal, man. So shout out to Greener. Hopefully they get it turned around in LA. They lost their first match against Colorado, but that's baseball. Who are you going to beat? In that sense, that's a wagon of a team. Dave Hackstall there too. But Ozzo, we're getting to the deadline. We are getting to NHL Insider, just rumor mill, guys throwing it. I feel like every year, and it's probably because of just jackasses like me who just like throw out just little nuggets that haven't come to fruition yet. I feel like all the insiders now, even more so, are throwing out speculation like before they used to just tweet out a trade and it would be like first guy to the trade.
Yep.
It's like that's what they get off to. But now I feel like it's just a wild west out there. And I think that's just the state of the internet and X and all of that. But it's and probably guys like me that just throw out, if I'm like 80% sure, I'll just I'm throwing it out there, like if I got something. But yeah, man, we got a little bit of movement. I think Colton Parayko still has to lift his no trade to go to Buffalo, but that's in the works. Mackenzie Weegar, same thing. Sounds like he might be on the move to Utah.
Really?
This will be Utah
Utah making moves. I didn't know that.
Yep. So both guys in their respected sense have to lift their no move or no trade clauses to go to those places. So by the time people hear this, they could be. But how funny would that be if like Parayko, wakes up from his nap in Seattle tonight or this afternoon and he gets the news of like Army's like, hey, like you want to go to Buffalo? And he's like, no. Like they have a trade in place, but I mean it is.
So he could just say no.
Yeah.
I ain't going.
He could say no. Yep. Confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, would they make that trade, Jordo? Do you think like Army would make that trade without having like a good sense like he'll say yes?
It's tough because you want to get the pieces in place for the trade, right? And then you go to the player and be like, all right, Perry, this is what we have. Are you willing to lift to go to Buffalo? And he's like that's one of those, if you're Army, like you literally pause. Are you willing to lift to go to Buffalo? And he's like, ooh. Yeah, I could do it.
How many years left on the contract?
That's what I mean. I think he's got 3 or 4 left. So like if it was 1 or 2, I could do it.
Finish out the career in Buffalo. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, I think if you had 1 or 2 left on that term, I would, like this year and next year, I'm like, all right, yeah, sign me up. I could go to Chippewa Street and just get drunk. Not that he's going to do that because he's a nerd, but yeah, I don't know. And then like if you're Weegar, you're basically the self-appointed captain. Like that guy seems like a good dude, but at one point he was like the Speaker of the House for the Calgary Flames to get that new arena. If you remember, he's like, yeah, we need a new arena. I'm talking to the owner, and like the owner kind of like gave it back to him a little bit. Like, yeah, like I guess we're getting a new arena, and according to Weegar, like we need a new dressing room, and according to Weegar. So like Weegar, friend of the pod at Missing Curfew, is he willing to go to Utah? I would say Calgary and Utah are very similar in the landscape of what those two towns are, but I don't know.
Making more money in Utah.
Better team, definitely.
Better team. You're in the States. I know he's a Canadian, but
yep.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for him, it's like, yeah, I'll go to Utah for sure. I mean, it seems like the boys get treated well there. New fan base. I think that one's a no-brainer. Parayko, I can imagine the guy just probably wants to win, so I would imagine he'll say yes. But like, is Buffalo going to win the cup? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, not this year for sure.
Not this year.
But Parayko, you got to back it up too. A kid from just outside of Edmonton. Then he goes to Fairbanks. He was overlooked. He goes to Alaska Fairbanks, which is not perfect. And then, goes to St. Louis, and obviously that's where he was drafted. But like I just think like he's just like a hockey player. He's a hockey nerd.
Yeah.
I don't think, to be honest, knowing him, he's so nice. He's actually too nice, and I think that's probably affects why he doesn't have a mean streak on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
If he had that, I think he would be, a top 5 defenseman, and he could be
Brent,
like
Brent Burns,
Chris Pronger. Yeah, Pronger like. But I just think for that guy, like I don't know if I think he's just too nice. I think he's just like, yeah, sure, I'll go to Buffalo. Like, yeah, or me, whatever. Like, I just don't think he's just happy anywhere. That kind of guy.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, you look at the guy's path. Like you said, he played at Fairbanks. He's from outside of Edmonton.
Yeah,
guy doesn't need much.
No.
So I'm sure you got to think Buffalo looks into that too, and they're like, this kid's probably going to say yes. I mean, like they're not trying to trade for like, I don't know who else you could say that probably wouldn't go.
Like even like a Justin Falk might not even go there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like Falk's probably saying no.
Yeah, he's probably like, I don't know.
Unless his contract's up after the year. If he's got 2 more years, he's like no.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, he's got this year and the next year, so he's safe,
Yeah. Yeah. But you got to think they look into that. I would think, who knows? But yeah, that'd be a big pull for Buffalo. I mean, it's funny those teams making moves. I guess you have to, Jordan, right? But like, I know Buffalo's playing well right now. And where are they sitting at? I mean, they're in second in the Atlantic.
Yeah, I just don't think anyone's good in the East, to be honest.
No, it looks like they're all close. Like I mean,
think
Columbus is only 8 points behind them, and they're out of the playoffs. So it's like anything could happen right now.
Right. Like I think if you're ranking the top 8 teams in the league, I mean, off the top of my head, at least 5 or 6 are coming from the West, right?
Yeah.
Like Florida's down, Tampa Bay, yeah, they've been good, but like I don't think they're like a legit cup winning team. I think they could make the cup. I don't think they're beating anyone out of the West unless the West just beats the shit out of each other for 3 rounds, which could happen. But Boston, I don't love. Montreal is getting whacked by Colorado if they play them in a final. So I think Buffalo probably looks at it also like, wow, this is wide open. Like if we go get Parayko, now our decor we're rolling out is pretty good. You know, we got Bo Byram if he's not traded. You have Parayko. You have Owen Power again if he is not dealt the other way, which I assume both aren't. And then you got that Matthias Samuelsson, Dahlin, Kesselring. Like that's a pretty good 6.
Yeah, that makes some noise in the East. It's funny looking at the East, Chardo, because I'm like
Detroit's not good.
No, I've watched all their game. I've watched all these games. They're not that good. And then you go down like, okay, Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota are wagons. They're wagons. And then you got Vegas.
Good.
Vegas is also very good.
Yes.
Okay, you don't want to run into them. Then you got the Edmonton Oilers,
right?
Who everyone knows you don't want to run into in the playoffs.
2 players can take you to the Stanley Cup, which they've done the last 2 years.
They've done the last 2 years. They could do it again this year. The West, Utah. And then Utah's playing well. If they get Mackenzie Weegar,
that's 6.
That's adding a lot to their lineup. I mean, that guy is really good. And then, I mean, I don't really. The one team I don't trust is Anaheim.
Yeah,
I don't trust them that much. I know they've got some skill up front. I think they're a little young yet. And then, towards the bottom half, I guess, anyone could sneak in there. But right now, Seattle's in that last spot.
Yeah, pro downtown. But
get them out of here.
To your point, Ozzo, like Utah, if they're in the East, they're an upper echelon team with adding a Mackenzie Weegar. Would you agree with that? Like they're right in the mix with Buffalo.
Oh, yeah. You could put them right with Buffalo, Montreal. Right with Detroit.
Yep.
Pittsburgh, New York Islanders. I mean, those teams aren't that good. Like Carolina and Tampa are good. Okay, we'll concede that.
Right.
But then everyone else, it's wide open.
Yeah, so I would say at least 5 teams in the West would be in the top 8 if you're judging the league as a whole. And then you throw in, obviously, Carolina into that mix and Tampa Bay. And then it's kind of a crapshoot. But also, like, Carolina doesn't have the makeup to win a cup, even if they get there. They don't possess the puck. They rim everything. Their goalie is fair. Their forward core minus 3 or 4 guys, they're not going to win. You know what I mean? Like they don't beat Tampa in 7.
Well, and it's Carolina, Jordo. I mean, they can't win a game in the conference finals.
Right.
And are they any different from the past, however many years they've been in the conference finals? 4? They're the same team, the same guys. Nothing different about them, except they don't have Gensel.
Yep. They don't have Gensel. They don't have Brett Burns.
Yeah, I don't trust them. I always just think they're frauds when it comes to playoffs because of them getting swept every year in the conference finals. But
I'm not overly thrilled with them. I would say, I mean, Tampa Bay is the team in the East, and let's see what they do. But the thing is, Ozzo, is like Dallas is a wagon. They have space too, especially with Tyler Seguin not going to be available for the playoffs. So under that new rule with the LTIR money, you have to declare a guy ineligible for the playoffs to reap the benefit of that space.
Yep.
So now you don't have a guy like Tyler Seguin, which is $9.5 million on the books. It comes off. Now you're going to go get a Blake Coleman. You're going to go get a Ryan O'Reilly. You're going to go get, some of these pieces, maybe one more forward up there. And now that team's fucking loaded, man. And they got Ottinger. Ottinger, I think, is one of the most underrated goalies in the league.
For sure. Now, who did they just trade for? Tyler Myers?
Tyler Myers, yep.
Tyler Myers was very effective back in his Winnipeg Jets days, I thought, just because he's a huge body.
Yep.
Is he any good anymore? I mean, he's got to be a little over the hill, right? Like he's on the back end of a long career.
Yeah, I would say so, but I think he comes in re-energized, revitalized. He's still 6'7" and skates.
I think he's from Texas too.
He was born there, yep. I think he's a dual citizen, but he was born there. But Oswald, I think he comes in and he's got the reach alone on the PK is better than your third pairing Nicholas Lundqvist, who's softer than a fucking, paper bag.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in that sense, at very worst, you get 15 minutes a night from him. He plays penalty kill and he plays hard. Remember a couple of those playoffs? He was fucking prick in front of the net.
Oh, he was. Yeah. I mean, it was like watching Brent Burns out there.
Yeah.
Like, remember Burnsy in his prime? I was like, that's the best. It might be the best playoff defenseman performance I've ever seen. I mean, he's burying guys, scoring goals back in his San Jose Sharks days.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, that was scary. And Myers used to give you that look too. I mean, he's been playing for how many years? I think his first year was in 09-10. So he's on his 16th season.
Yeah.
Keeping that body lubed up and ready to go can't be easy.
That back, especially when you're that tall.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're sitting on the nice, first class seats on the Bird in the National League. That's still, especially playing in Vancouver, that's a lot of miles on the body. Also, I just want to address it. I don't mean to harp on this guy or nag on him. He's played a lot of games in the league, over 800. He's the same birth year as me, 1993 born. Got traded to Edmonton. Stan Bowman had some familiarity there with Connor Murphy. Now, the people in Edmonton, I don't think we have anyone really that listens to us in Edmonton, and I don't give a shit. But the people online acting like Connor Murphy is some savior of a top four defenseman, I'm going to tell you right now, he's never been that. He's not. He's a guy that'll answer the bell and fight. He's not tough, but he will fight for whatever reason. I do respect Murph for that, and he's a good guy. But for a guy that can't really move a puck, is serviceable at best, not, extremely tough. Again, will fight, but he's not tough. He just comes in and plays as a top four defenseman, and I'm getting chirped online for saying
Is that what they're claiming?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, because I tweeted out, I said, before the Edmonton trade, you guys in that decor were sitting in 34E.
I saw this. I completely agreed with it.
With Connor Murphy, you're 19, A in a window seat. Like, you're not any better. And then people are like, oh, yeah, Murph's fucking unreal on the PK, this and that. I'm like, he's a 5'6" on a Stanley Cup winning team, Ozzo. He's a 6. He's no better than Eric Johnson at 37 years old when they won the cup for the Colorado Avalanche. Like
Murphy's never been a top 4D, has he? He's always been 5'6", hasn't he?
Well, on a shitty Chicago team, yeah, he's probably a 4, but in the real world, on a legit team, no, he's a 6.
He's been around for a while. He's a good player.
Yeah, he's fine, but I've had people reach out to me, like beat writers of Edmonton, be like, Swish, you're wrong on that one. I'm like, no, I'm not.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. I've been wrong. I'm wrong a lot of times. I'm not wrong on this one.
Well, there's enough resume there to know what Connor Murphy is, and he's never, even when in his, I don't know if he's out of his prime, in his prime, he's getting a little older, I guess right now, 32. You could say he's on the back end of his prime. But I've never seen him be a top 4 defenseman on a, like you said, a Stanley Cup winning team.
He wasn't a top 4 defenseman on the 1993 U.S. NTDP team. He got drafted first round. He was a 5 or a 6 with back issues. He goes into pro, plays in the American League. Probably wasn't even as a young player. Didn't really play along in the American League. Probably was a 5'6". Got to Phoenix, was a 5'6". The guy's a 5. He's gonna make $25-30 million being a 5'6", right? Like
Nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, dude, if you think he's going to come in and start moving pucks for you and getting in the hands of your,
I saw some of those comments from the Edmonton people like ripping you on that, and I was like, do they actually think he's going to be a top 4 defenseman?
Yeah,
like he's just not.
That's the funniest thing about Edmonton is like their roster sucks, but somehow they're going to win at least a round just with those two guys. It's fucking crazy, man.
It's crazy how much impact those two guys can have in a sport where individuals really can't.
No,
they can't affect the game that much. Like the amount they affect the game it's probably the most I've seen. I mean, you could argue Crosby and Malkin back in their day, but even then they had like Hossa with them. They had, Letang on the back end. They had Fleury in the pipes. They had Kunitz was unbelievable. I mean, they just had a really, really good team every year.
Yeah,
Edmonton's never had a good team. They're just have really good top end players.
I mean, Pittsburgh always had good defensemen too. Paul Martin. You mentioned Letang.
Brooks Orpik.
Rob Scuderi. Like they had nasty defensemen. Like Bouchard is actually playing pretty good. I don't mind his game. I harp on him in playoffs because I think he does make that one mistake that ultimately cost you a goal 1 out of every 2 or 3 games. But somehow he always seems to make up for it. He's playing unbelievable. I mean, he's at 70 points now on the season? Like
71.
So it's just wild, Azo, that they don't even really have a good goalie, and they're going to win a round depending on who they play. And it's going to be 3 guys. It's, and maybe you throw Hyman in that mix, so 4. But it's just crazy that those guys control that much of a series. Like I saw firsthand last year when I went and watched them play LA and they lost game 2 and they're down 2-0. I was like, oh, they're going to win in 6. Like they just turned it on. It was fucking insane, man.
It's nuts. And then when you watch Bouchard, I think, I don't know if it's this year because guys do have insane 1 year and done, and then they kind of never replicate it or whatever. He's always been good, but this year he seems on a different level, Jordo.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch him on the power play this year specifically, how do you not claim he would have been better on that top power play unit for Team Canada than Cale Makar? I know that's a stretch, but I don't know, man. When I watch him on the power play, I don't think there's I don't think there's any other defense in the league you'd rather have quarterbacking that power play up top.
That can hit a one-timer, I agree.
Like with his one-timer, no one else has that.
Yeah.
No one else has it. And that's like, I don't know, that one-timer shot is just, I think it's more valuable than anything, really.
Yeah,
power play.
Yeah, he doesn't have like the mobility to get off the wall as Makar, or the deception maybe in terms of his passing. And Makar is always going to be, he's Indy 500 in terms of he's going around the zone the entire time, controlling the play. But I would agree with you in terms of a downhill attack. So what we mean by that is a guy that can get it into McDavid's hands and then get himself in position to hit a one-timer. There's no one better in the league. And it seems like he scores fucking every other shot.
Not to mention, like, even if it does get blocked to Jordan, I mean, he's injuring someone with it. That's valuable in itself. Because now you got an injured defenseman the rest of the game who blocked the one-timer. I just think that shot up top is just so valuable.
Well, and also, too, so if McDavid usually plays on his forehand side and he looks for the one-timer across the seam to Draisaitl, who's on the right flank, McDavid plays the left, the strong side. So by Bouchard having that big of a bomb when it goes from Draisaitl up to Bouchard over to McDavid, like it just holds that other PKer, that weak side PKer in his spot, because he has to respect that could be a one-timer. Then he sends it over to McDavid, and now that seam, Azo, as you know, is a little bit more exposed because the weak side killer can't shrink in. You know what I mean? Closer to the net, so it creates that little bit of space through the box, and that's another big thing too, because if you start cheating low and you sink in, well, now look out for that one.
I mean, and like, I know these players are tough and they're giving their bodies they're putting their bodies on the line all fucking game in the playoffs, but you're still, when a guy's got a shot like that, you're like, we got to stop that from getting off. Like,
Yeah.
we can't let that get off. So you're cheating that, whether you like it or not, subconsciously. If you're that winger up there, you're cheating it because if he gets it off, it's either in the back of the net or someone's getting injured.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would concur with you. I think right now there's, and two, like, if you just tie it back to Team Canada, like, I didn't have him on my team to start the tournament or before, but now it's like, you talk to certain guys, hindsight's always 2020. What was that decor missing? Was it a Matthew Schaefer? Was it a Bouchard? Seemed to really not be able to move the puck out of their zone. It's like McKinnon had his guy, right, with Makar. Why didn't you give McDavid his
I know.
Essentially what he is he's just your USPS driver. He just drops the package off to you and you take it. You know what I mean? Like, if you had, because then you could go McDavid and McKinnon on two different lines with both their D that they play all year with, and then you don't have to stack one line. And because at times that line just felt like it was just, they were gripping it too tight, and it was almost like McKinnon holds the puck too long.
Yeah.
We're playing with McDavid like he's a puck hog.
I agree. I thought, it's hindsight, and obviously we're trying to tell Coop how to coach, but like, funny. But after watching the tournament, I was like, in the next Olympics or whenever they play this best on best, USA versus Canada, you got to think McDavid and McKinnon won't be on the same line. I wouldn't put them on the same line because why not have two of those lines? You don't really need them on the same line.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I just think for Coop, like, he was in such a bind when Crosby went down. It's like, we have to stack one line to, and because we're going to play him 25 minutes, and so we don't want, two lines. We don't want them, getting their touches, and especially you want them on the ice with Makar and Devin Taves. So now you're looking at a 5-man unit where, okay, now I want these guys all on the ice together. It makes sense, but I do think that maybe their styles didn't match up well enough. And if you would have add a Bouchard to that fold, well, now you got, two guys essentially with their quarterback out there, and they can kind of freewheel.
Yeah, and then you got to think they're also, like, for that next tournament, they got to be thinking about, and I don't think this guy has any real business being on the team, but like a guy like Zach Hyman, like, he knows how to play with McDavid, and that's the best player on the team. Like, I don't know, maybe you just bring him along. I know he's not having great seasons this past few years, but there's something about that. It's like Chris Kunitz playing on Team Canada with Crosby back in the day.
For sure. Yeah, because you just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let these guys play with their sidekick, kind of say. Because it's not easy to play with those star players, man. And then you put star on stars together, and it's, now you're deferring. You've never felt that in your head subconsciously of, I'm on the ice with him. I got to look for him all the time. So those guys are always low maintenance guys. They're like low maintenance girlfriends. You don't got to text them. You don't got to call them. They just know when you're going to get home. They're going to be happy to see you. Like, everyone wants a low maintenance girlfriend, right? Like,
and now you're feeling better. You got more confidence.
Right. She doesn't expect a lot from me. She doesn't need the puck all night long. Doesn't need me to talk to her. She's good. I can leave her over there. She's cool with anyone in the corner mucking it up. And then, when I come back here with the puck, she's happy to see me. Like, everyone wants that.
100%. Yeah.
So, yeah. But, so we'll see, man. I don't know. This deadline, there's always just so much smoke around the deadline. It's like, all right, are these moves actually going to happen? Is it not going to happen?
Like, is Robert Thomas going to be moved? Is Vinny Trocheck going to be moved? Right. Is that going to happen? And then, Jordan, like, I know picks don't matter, but it's funny how these guys, just because I know them personally, like Mike McCarron and Cole Smith, okay, nothing against these guys. They're NHLers. I respect them as much as I could respect anyone. They're tough guys, but they're not regular season guys. Like, you put them on any team in the NHL, it's like you're probably not going to know who they are, which is probably a good thing in their role. But two big bodies getting traded to Stanley Cup teams, you got to think, like, that's a Stanley Cup, baby. Like, these guys, this is where these guys are going to make their money.
For sure. I mean,
if they can play hard and make an impact, that's what they're there for. They're not there for the regular season.
No, I mean, and Cole Smith was traded for a third-round pick. Cole Smith might not be in the lineup every night for Vegas. I think he should be, but he very well couldn't be. You know what I mean? Like that's a guy that's a pretty good return, and that says I think a lot about the character of the man and the teammate of,
For sure.
Kelly McCrimmon willing to give up a 3rd round pick. Like those guys don't take top 3 round picks lightly. Like they're like, oh my God, I could find a diamond in the rough in the 2nd round or the 3rd round. And to give away that for a guy like Cole Smith, if you just look at what he does on paper, you're like, wow, that was steep. But it just goes to show you Nashville probably didn't want to part ways with him either because he's such a good dude in the locker room.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see those guys in the playoffs. It's cool guys like that get to. Usually, everyone's talking about the star players, Jordo, who are going to get traded, but you've got 2 like 4th line grinders getting traded to cup teams, and they got to be excited, right? Like they're on 2 good teams with a chance at the Stanley Cup. Time to show us what you got.
Yeah, it's and what did McCarron get traded for? What was his
2nd round pick?
Wow, 2nd round pick. Jesus, they were saying it was a buyer's market. It's fucking seller's market. 2nd round pick. Jesus.
Yeah, 2nd round pick. I mean,
he's got like 10 points.
Now, how much really is the 2nd round pick worth? Like, what's the odds? 2nd round pick is like a NHLer 50% of the time.
Not maybe, even.
Yeah.
30, maybe not even 30.
So like you're trading a 2nd round pick, 40% chance at being an NHLer for an NHLer. I mean, yeah, I know you could find that diamond in the rough, but
I would say, and I don't know the stats, someone smarter than us, probably Schloss would know. Like, I think a 1st round pick has 70%, maybe 80% chance of playing 1 game. But then if you're taking it to like NHL career, which would be considered over 100 games,
yeah,
it drops off significantly. Like even past the point of like pick 15, like pretty sure like there's not a ton of difference between like pick 20 and like pick 100 of the draft. You know what I mean? Like percentage of like playing an actual legit NHL career. So it's just kind of like how you look at it. Like, I mean, 1 game, like that's not, like fucking even 40 games, or it's like, all right, like it played, but it's not like he was like a legit NHLer, at least in my eyes. And I would say I'm in that same category.
Yeah,
I'm a legit NHLer. So you're right. It's like even a 1st round pick, man. Like
I know
it's like if it's like 25th overall, or I'm like, it could be a Hall of Famer. It couldn't be. It could be a guy that plays in the American League.
Yeah, it could be no one. So I know that was steep for McCarron, a guy who doesn't get you any points. He's not going to score you any goals.
Yep.
But those guys, in the playoffs, when it's rough and tough and you're trying to beat up the other team, that's when they'll come in hand at one point. You can imagine.
100%. Those are those guys that like they might not be everydayers in the playoffs, but you insert them into the lineup game 3 or 4. You're like, fuck me, McCarron's coming.
Some fresh legs, and he's just coming down, just bullying you. Yeah,
he's been Normatecing for 2 weeks. Like he's off the piss. Like fuck. Like I'm a little banged up. I'm like, I got to get hit by this guy all night. That's my matchup. Yeah, those are like big pieces. Like especially for teams that are trying to put together a run. I think Minnesota's in a great spot. I think they need 1 more center iceman, to be honest, whether that's Vinny Trocheck, O'Reilly, if he's able to, wants to waive his no move. Even a piece like Eric Hall, I think would bringing him back to Minnesota would be a sneaky pickup. I think he's a guy that easily fits into your bottom 6. Now he's not a Vinny Trocheck or Ryan O'Reilly, but I do think Minnesota definitely needs help down the middle.
100%. Like where would you, in terms of, Robert Thomas and Trocheck, like, are they pretty similar? They're pretty similar players, right? Like on the same kind of level.
Yeah. I mean, I think Bob Thomas has got significantly better passing ability. I think he's more dynamic, younger. Obviously he's born in 1999, Trocheck's 93. So 26 versus 32. Vinny Trocheck is just like that Ryan Callahan like mold. Like just a bulldog over the puck. Probably, can slot in as your second line center, but, on a cup winning team, he's probably a 2B, where Bob Thomas can legit drive a top 6 and, be that difference maker through the middle of the ice. I think just on the power play and on the flank and things like that. So, yeah, I think, if you're ranking the centers available, Bob Thomas is for sure the the hottest commodity there. Vinny Trocheck, definitely throw him in the mix if O'Reilly wanted to lift. There's some pieces there that are available, but we'll see. I think Billy Guerin is going to be fucking swinging. Like, he doesn't give a fuck.
He's going to have to, but then you think about, like, what does he have to offer? He's got 2 goaltenders.
Yep.
But does St. Louis or New York need a goaltender? Probably not.
No, I mean, and like, you would hate to give up Ryan Hartman.
Yeah. Well, you can't. I mean, is he not their best? I guess Eriksson Ek's probably their best center. Probably their second best center.
Right? Like,
just trade 1 for 1.
Yeah, I know. So if you're getting Bob Thomas, a guy like that is probably going back the other way, you would think. And then, I mean, definitely some other pieces, but like, they want at least one ready now player, and they probably would want Hartman. He's St. Louis style, and at a good cap. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at that point I would be like, fuck, maybe what's the price on Vinny Trocheck versus less term left on his deal, a guy that can slot in. Like, if Vinny Trocheck's your third line center, or Hartman slides down to 3 and Trocheck's 2, like those are pretty. Two really good, middle 6 centermen. They're not number 1 centers, but if you had Eriksson Ek, Hartman, and Vinny, and you had Vinny Trocheck, that's almost having like 3 really good second line centers.
Yeah, kind of evens out a little bit. Yeah. I mean, it's funny to think too, like, the way Gary has this set up this playoffs, like Minnesota or Dallas is going home.
Yeah, that's
unless Dallas stays on their heater, they could take over the 1 spot. But
I know, it's like you load up and you're playing like one of the best teams in the league.
You're playing possibly the second best team in the league, second and third best team in the league, maybe playing each other first round.
Yeah,
it's like, and then the second round you got the second or third best team playing the best team in the league again. And it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, that's crazy. And so, then it would be what? It would be basically, if it started today, it would be Utah versus Vegas.
Utah, Vegas,
and then
Seattle, Colorado.
Oh, that's 4.
Dallas, Minnesota. Yep. Anaheim, Edmonton. There's Edmonton's heading.
That's Edmonton's so bullshit.
Edmonton's heading to Vegas for second round.
Oh my, like, that is so lopsided.
Oh yeah.
Like, that, the big boy matchup of the Stars and the North Stars, that's fucked. And then, like, if Edmonton plays Anaheim, they're just going to make it shinny hockey. They're going to beat those guys fucking 4-1 in a series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if that's the way it shakes out. I mean, the Sharks are nipping at the heels of Seattle right now.
Yeah.
Kind of be sick to see them in the playoffs. I mean, they'd get steamrolled by Colorado, but
yeah, I think anyone that's playing Colorado, it's just, all right, thank you for your service. That's 4. Like,
yeah,
let's just play all 4 in Colorado and just go home, save the travel money.
You guys made it to the playoffs. Nicely done. Good season. We'll see you next year.
Yep. Thank you for your service. Yeah, that one is just, that's just whoever they play is, that's over with. I totally, like, I love Colorado, but I love Natius. I love their team. It all depends on, like, McKinnon's mood, because I feel like sometimes he's just AWOL and sometimes he's dialed in. And then, like, Landeskog, like, I mean, love the guy, warrior, but I mean, they're playing him too much, like, just for how he moves out there. Like,
I know
it's not perfect, Hazo.
No,
and it sucks to see, because he's battled so hard to get back. And I respect that they're trying to, he's probably still working through, like, all scar tissue and just the feeling of his leg. And so it's like, buying time for him to get comfortable again, and, managing what's best for the team. And he's your captain. Like, that's so hard.
I know.
I wouldn't want to be Bednar.
No, because he's definitely got to still be just getting back in. I mean, that's got to take a year or 2 to get back to your game.
Yeah, if you ever get there.
Yeah, if you ever get back.
Right.
It's funny that Brock Nelson has 30 goals. No one ever talks about the guy, hey? Like, you don't hear anything about him. He's got 30 tucks.
Yeah, he never talks himself.
Yeah, it's just crazy. The guy's got 30 tucks in the national. He looks like he's 60 years old.
Yeah.
And he's just nasty.
Yeah, it's just nasty at whatever he does. He's unreal tennis player, golfer. If he actually dialed in his off the tee game, he could be a scratch golfer. Yeah, he's just sick. He's just one of those guys that's one of those small town kids that just he's good at everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, is East Grand Forks is not in the state tournament, or are they? I haven't even talked to Rico.
No, they lost. They lost in sections in the semifinal. Actually, they didn't even make the championship game of sections.
Damn.
And I believe Warroad's in town representing Section 8.
Okay. Are you going to go attend that this weekend?
Yeah. Chiz texted me. He's going to be scouting tomorrow. So I'm going to go meet up with him, probably watch a couple of games with him. And then on Friday, I think I'm going to head down there. It's just I want to go because you can't have beers in Grand Casino now, the X.
No way.
You can't have beers during the high school tournament. So like when you go to like some of these AA games, which are actually fun to watch, they're at like 7:00 and you're having beers at like 5, and then you have like 4 beers, and then you got to walk over and watch this game, and then by the time you walk out, you're hung.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking on Friday, I'm going to go catch like an earlier 5:00 game and then watch the rest of the games at the bar so I can enjoy a couple beers.
Yeah, I think that's the play. Get over to McGovern's.
Yeah.
Hang out. Yeah, I still got to hit that one year. I've never done it. Maybe next time East Grand Forks was in it, I got to make the roadie up. And
it is epic. I know like people talk about like, I hate the tweets that are like, oh, look at high school hockey in Minnesota's like this. It's like, yeah, whatever. Okay, that's cool. But it is a cool event. It's a fun time. There's a lot of people down there, just a lot of hockey people. You know, it's a good time to be in St. Paul.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's always buzz around the tourney, the all hockey hair team, the flow. I love it. Who is the favorite in the big boy side of things?
Minnetonka.
Tonka.
Okay. Edina made it again too, so you can never really count them out. And then Moorhead. With those Cullen brothers.
And Suter's on that team, I think, too, right? Or
yeah,
I
think he is.
Or at least last year he was. Or no, he's playing for Edina. Suter.
Is he?
Yeah. Suter's on Edina this year. He's living at home. He was on Moorhead last year. I don't know if he played varsity, but yeah, he's playing before and after with the Madison Capitals. Shout out to Luke Stoffaker, the coach there. Joe Pavelski, the assistant coach, and then he's doing Edina right now. So
21 points this season.
Nice.
And 26 games. That ain't bad.
No. Well, that's good. That'll work. Yeah, he's a good player. He plays exactly like his dad.
Wait, it says on here he's grade 9.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he played as an 8th grader last year for Moorhead. I don't know how many varsity games he got. I think he was playing Bantams, but I think he got maybe a few. And then, yeah, he's a 9th grader fella.
21 points as a 9th grader at Edina that's like first rounder material.
Yeah, I think if he stays on a trajectory, like I mean, I saw him 2 years ago skating with us, as the pro guys in Madison. He was nasty out there. He was like 7th grade, he just plays exactly like his dad.
He's got to be unbelievable if he's got 21 points as a 9th grader. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, and a D too.
Yeah, you're gonna want to keep your eye on that kid.
Yeah. Check the game notes on that kid. Azo, we have officially confirmed and booked the golf trip this year. UND golf trip year 10, Chicago IL. I can't wait, brother. That just wanted to make that announcement for all the people that do follow along with the North Dakota golf trip. Usually have 16 to 20 guys in the mix. To quote the man for the 10th year in a row, Paul Ledoux, he's on the fence. So
how hard did you laugh at that one?
Oh, I was pissing my pants. I wanted to just keep leaning into it, but he wasn't giving me anything back with the time change. I was like, come on, get me going here. I don't need much. I
was waiting for him to come back with something, and it took too long.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that is just classic.
I'm not kidding, Jordan. And I usually exaggerate things for the story to make it sound better, but I'm not kidding. This guy has been on the fence for all 10 years, and he's booked this flight no longer than 24 hours in advance.
Yep. Yeah, he gets nervous and he pushes it off until everyone starts packing their bags, and then he buys his flight. Overspends by about $1,000, and then gets on that bird. And lately too, he's been coming in like a little bit late too, which I don't love. Like he'll be coming in. I don't know. It's either the day after everyone gets in, or it's that night or something. So Dewey Cox, if you're listening, brother, I got you penciled in for at least that Thursday. Hopefully you come Wednesday for a meat and cheese night. But when I saw that, I was like, is this guy actually still in this bit that he's not going to come? Like, dude, who are you fooling? Like, besides yourself.
He's still trying to trick himself. It's insane. It's like, buddy, you've had 10 years on your resume of like, you're going to go. Just commit.
And somehow he gets like Rico. Like Rico's less and less every year. Like he stresses about it, but like he still has Rico in his back pocket where he has to send a text and be like, "Yeah, Ledoux's on the fence, but I'm confident he's going to be there." Well, yeah, no shit. Like, no shit, he's going to be there. That is so good, dude. Oh my! When I saw that, I'm sad that Kajula is going to be out though.
Again. I know, man. That's tough. It's not good, man.
No, he's the MVP. He's the pulse. Stetchy going to be back in the mix though, unless he's dealt.
That'll be good. Cool. That'll be good.
Good to have him. Hards, we're going to miss obviously the trainer. 2 years in a row with no trainer's tough.
That ain't great either. I mean, those are two huge blows.
Yeah. I think Hards is, I don't know, maybe something camp or family. His wife might be, who knows? I don't want to speculate, but he's a guy that does not miss usually. So
no,
unless he's got something. So Hards, things can change. We'll see. And I don't want to announce it for him, but Nick Schmaltz, I think, has a wedding date maybe set. So that would be another rendezvous with the fellas, depending on
nice. If Wisco, that's got to be Wisco, right?
I think so. I don't want to speak for him. I think they're deciding on a few options. It seems to be the front runner, maybe Scottsdale in the mix too, but it sounds like it's probably going to be in Wisco. Date TBD, which is hilarious because it's we're almost to summer now. But that would be another great weekend to get the boys together. So be on the lookout for that. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to be invited, so maybe you not either. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows with that guy?
I wasn't waiting on it. I was just if it comes, I'll accept. If not, have a good time. That's
I think he, from what my understanding is, the core group of boys will be on that list. But again, I'm not sending them out. So
well, yeah, like a guy like that. How many guys do you make friends with over time? Like it's like.
Yeah, I know.
You got to start cutting somewhere.
For sure. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and don't let me get the mic. I'll say that.
You don't get invited. We're all there.
That would be classic. I'm at the bar. Fellas, let me know when it's wrapped up. I can come to the rehearsal dinner.
Told me I could come to the dinner.
Told me I could come to the shaker. Show up with a bunch of hookers. Oh, man.
Girlfriend no one's seen before. That's my new girlfriend.
That might be me. Who knows? Oh, man. That's good shit. Azo, lastly, the people's term of the week. I think a lot of people know it by now, but I think I've been getting some questions about it. So the People's Insider term of the week is, that's baseball. Now, the expression "that's baseball" has taken the hockey world by storm. You've seen Team USA call in from Air Force Deuce into home by 3. And speaking of home by 3, this is where this term was coined. Now, we're not going to pretend to make the term up. It's pretty generic, putting two words together in terms of "that's baseball." Longly used by former Yankees announcer when just describing America's pastime. So we took it one step further over here at Home by 3 and basically just presented it to everyday life. You can use "that's baseball" for anything that happens, good, bad, or ugly. Your wife cheats on you, you come home, her bags are packed. Well, fella, that's baseball. You get home, I don't know what's going on. Maybe you're, fighting it at work. Maybe you were playing hockey and you're -5 in the National League that night, and you know what? Shit's going sideways. Maybe you're on a 10-game losing streak. Hey, fella, well, that's baseball. What can you do? It's really an expression just to kind of throw out there to ease the tension or set the mood. Now, you take that one step further, And our good buddy Luke Wilson asked me one time, what's the difference between that's baseball and that's porn? And to answer that question, I have no idea. But what is baseball is porn, and what is porn is baseball. So those are two expressions that guys are using all over the league right now, and especially a lot on the line heading into next week in Chicago with a yug-off between Dana Beers and HB3 for the rights to That Is Baseball, even though we said it first over here. Azo, it's just one of those hilarious things. And a lot of baseball guys even kind of know the saying, even before we brought it to light, of just like anything that happens, man, that's baseball, dude. So that is this week's People's Insider Term of the Week.
Incredible. You guys, I don't know how you got the entire National Hockey League to get in on this thing, but I saw that initial, it was on Twitter I saw, and then he went on the Yak. The initial, like, Dana Beers trying to claim it, like he said it first or whatever. It's been an absolute ass beating. I mean, belt to ass by you guys on Dana Beers, with the entire National Hockey League saying that's baseball now.
Yeah.
And that's clearly from you guys. So I don't even know if you have to have the yug-off.
No, the yug-off is strictly for show business. I do think, and it was hilarious when we went on the Yak, and that KB dude, he's a good guy. He's one of the longest standing members of the Yak, was like, Dana, how many times have you said that's baseball? Either 2 or 3, and like these guys are like actually funny and like use it in context. He's like, well, yeah, and then he's like, well, Dana, you didn't even know when you said it. Like, you don't even remember. He's like, you just threw it out there just randomly. Like, so it was so funny.
So Dana claimed that you guys got it from him. Is that what happened? Because like I never even knew he was saying it. And if that happened back in October, I mean, how long ago are we talking? That's 4 months ago.
Yeah. So I think like we checked the receipts. I think we had it 2 weeks before him, maybe a week. And he had just randomly thrown it out there like during one of his yug-offs. Like, that's baseball. And basically, like KB said, maybe used it like 2 or 3 times up until this point. And then went on one of his channels, his pod or the yug-off. And Dana Beers seems like a good dude. So I'm not like, there's no ill will here. Yeah. I love those guys at Barstool. Have been great to us. I want to preface that. But he basically said, he came out publicly and said, those hockey guys stole it from me, AKA us, which we didn't steal terms over here. You know what I mean? Like, so it was just funny. Like, he came out and said that, and then we released a little bit of a PR statement saying, hey, look, dude, we didn't steal that from you. I believe we had it before you. If not, it's a total coincidence. And let me make something clear. I said, none of those hockey guys are saying it because of you, Dana. Respectfully. That's our world where we live in. So that got brought up. Big Cat was texting me. We orchestrated a best of 7 yug-off, even though I don't think we should have to play for it, but we will, because that's show business. And we created this cool little thing. We're actually flying into Chicago next week, Thursday, Friday, to chug 1 beer each day.
No way. It's a 1 beer chug-off.
Yep. And we're going to do some other stuff while we're there. But yeah, we're flying to Chicago. It's 2-3-2 format, best of 7. So it is so outrageous, dude. It's going to be great.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. I mean, I know you guys can bring it for sure. I have confidence in you, Jordo, and especially Heater. But I know that's a heavyweight there, I feel like. I mean, he goes by Dana Beers. You'd like to think like this guy can chug him.
I know, and he was sandbagging us too. Like, I'm actually not that, my name is Dana Beers, but I'm not that good at chug. I'm like, dude, you have a show called The Yug-Off, fella. You know what I mean? So like, you got to be decent. Like, I don't know, Ozzy, like, you see me shotgun in my prime. I can still shotgun, but I can't tell you truly like when the last time I chugged a beer out of a glass. I don't drink beer at all. I don't know, man. Like, I think I have an okay chug game, but it's not like it's like elite. I'm not going around and I'm the chug guy.
Well, yeah, I would say you're probably above average for sure, even more than above average. But you'd like to think this Dana Beers guy is probably in the top 1% of beer chuggers in the world, just with his name.
Right. And then they're picking a partner too. So it's going to be 2-on-2. There will be an official, but I also made it to the point like, well, you can't just dish us like a fucking game where it's going to be totally lopsided. We already got to take down a guy that's an absolute unit. And then like you can't be like, all right, Kadick or someone like a refrigerator at Barstool, like we'll get mopped, you know. So I've made that a point to Big Cat. But I don't know, man. We're playing them on their soil and, you know, their game, and, you know, we agreed to it because we're good dudes. But, you know, if it's basically like, you know, if we lose this, like what's at stake is we have to say, you know, that's baseball said by Dana Beers. And if we win it, that's baseball said by Home by 3. Even though the Kachucks came out and said it, you know, basically that we started or I started it. I was the first one to say it. You know, that just doesn't seem to hold a lot of weight in their heads.
Yeah,
so
and you got McAvoy, you got Kells.
Yep.
I mean, you got the entire U.S. Olympic team on your side, which is probably the best team to have on your side at this moment right now.
For sure. So, I mean, I don't know. I think, I guess we're going to play it live, and I think it's going to be good clicks. I think it's going to be hilarious. And we're going to drag this 7-game series out over like months. So it'll be hilarious. Like, you know, it'll be like a month or two go by. All right, Dana Beers head to Scottsdale for old school NBA 3 games, you know, on the road. Like, so it's just gonna be dragged out where people like, you know, in like,
that's
like,
good.
So it'll be funny, man. Yeah, we're doing that next week. So
that's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Who has like rights to like? How does that work, Jordan? Who has the rights to like video it and then post it and like edit it? Is that them?
I believe it's going to be live streamed. I'm still talking to Big Cat, and we're working out the rules. But I think it's going to be on their feed. I brought up the fact that we want some of our fans in the building. I don't know if the liability is there with our mutants coming into the Barstool HQ, which probably they don't want. But I want a cheering section for us.
Mm-hmm.
I have mentioned that. I have mentioned there's going to be a referee, but I want an honor system of a challenge, at least one per game, in case, you know, I don't want to get fucking sandbagged by some referee that they're paying.
Yeah.
We're working on bringing our camera guy there so we can have different cuts for our shit, and also like, you know, the rights to all of our, if we're on the camera and we want a certain clip, like we get that, you know, we can post anything. So, Big Cat is actually a beauty. Like he's a good dude. I've gotten to know him a little bit, just, you know, in passing and spending some time there at HQ, and then obviously texting him and stuff. He's a good dude. So we'll work out. We'll find common ground, but it is funny.
That's hilarious. Big Cat does seem like a genuine dude too. He's clearly obviously a genius in his own right. You know, like what he's been able to do.
Yeah, no, he's he would fit right in on our golf trip. I think so. You know what I mean? Like, maybe not now at 40 with kids, but definitely back in his day, 100%.
For sure.
Yeah, he's a real one. I like that guy. So yeah, so we'll have more on that later in the week. Fella, I forgot to tell you, I'm going 2 days. I'm going to ski, Telluride. Have you?
No way, you're going Telluride? No,
I don't know how the dust is there right now. I don't know how the snow is, but I'm going there. Going there tomorrow night.
Incredible.
Skiing with Mark, my dad, and Monty. So it's gonna be pretty sick.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I've heard. I just did that move out there, and I've heard that's by far the best skiing in Colorado.
How did the dust look then? Did it look?
It was pretty good then. It had just snowed before I got there. I know the early season was brutal. There was no snow.
Yeah,
it just snowed when I got there. A bunch of people were skiing, and you know what? I was asking some of the locals, you know, what's the attraction of it, and it's like, well, it's the best skiing in Colorado, and there's not a ton of people out there. You know, the hills aren't crowded because it's a little further away from things.
Yep.
That's awesome, dude. I got to get out there. After seeing it, I almost pushed my flight back just to ski it. But then I was like, fuck, I'm not going to drive this Penske truck out to the mountain and then park it and then try to ski by myself and whatever I got with me, you know? So I got to get out there and test those slopes out because they looked minty. Like the runs look unreal. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good shit. So I'm fired up. Just 2 days in and out. 3 days, but 2 ski days. You hit it hard for 2. I'm like, ideally, I think for me, it would be 3. But, you know, 2 is, I kind of like it in and out like that, like 3 hard. And then, you know, you ski 8 to 5, 9 to 5, and then you're out. And then, cause I don't like to sit there and booze and, you know, I'll do that afterwards, but I like to fucking, you know, get the sweat going and shit like that. So One of these years, Ozzo, we got to do like a fellas ski trip, man.
I agree. We have to do it. I know we do these golf trips in the summer, which are great, but we got to do a ski trip.
Like, I think we should do, and especially as more guys start retiring, we can even just start with like me, you, Rico, and whoever.
Easy.
And we just pick out a one weekend, because then we have the winter and the summer, man. I think we need it.
I think we need it too. I think John would come if we asked.
Yep. Matt skis like a pussy, but he'll be there.
Matt's would be there for sure. I'm not sure what Dale would say. I can't, for some reason, see him on skis, but
I can see him at the bar, though.
Probably be in. Yeah.
I can see him at the bar.
He looked good in a mountain bar.
Yeah, he looked great. He would look great in a mountain bar. Oh, man. All-time Ozzo. Always good snapping it around with you, bro. Tape to tape. Let's go fucking crush a workout. What do you got going? You going to do legs, or you going to go fucking just beach bod?
No, I'm going to go full body.
Nice.
Yeah, a little just like I'll probably do, 5 sets of pull-ups, just however many I can do.
Yep.
Paired with RFE squat.
Bulgarian, whatever you want to
call it.
Bulgarian,
yeah. That's what I was looking for. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. I'll do that with some incline dumbbell, and then I'm going to do some AMRAP, as many reps as possible or as many sets as possible, kind of a little CrossFit.
Yeah.
And then I'll finish it out in the sauna. Just doing.
Nice.
I finish it out in the sauna I've got some 30-pound dumbbells, and I just do fucking curls to keep the biceps going.
Oh, you have to. Yeah, my upper to lower ratio right now, I think, is like 3-to-1. It's just.
You have to, though, right?
Yeah,
it's nice to have big legs, but
I know. And these fucking getaway sticks ain't getting any bigger.
I don't need to skate 20 minutes out there anymore. Like, I don't need them.
No. No matter what I do, they're gonna be pencils anyways. So fuck it.
What do you got going? You gonna do?
I'm gonna do. You know what? I'm surprisingly, I'm gonna do lower. I'm gonna go in there, and I'll probably, because I went so hard on the upper yesterday that I physically I can't. So I'm gonna go in there and do some lower.
That's probably a good call.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're benching, what'd you have? 255, 245 for 8 or 5x5?
Yeah, that was 245 for 5x5, and then I can do 255 for probably 8.
I mean, that is hilarious. That's
hilarious.
That's like twice as strong as you were playing hockey.
For sure.
At least at bench.
Benching 3 times a week.
Just weren't benching at all playing hockey. I wasn't. I hated it.
No, I wasn't either. All right, brother. Well, always good snapping around with your chin, brother. That was episode Live in 5, number 114. Ozzo, the captain, Jay Swish, the boys. Until next week, we out.